The world's largest election is underway. Nearly 1 billion people in India will cast their votes in a poll that will last more than 6 weeks. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is seeking an historic third term and is campaigning for more growth, welfare and more entrenched Hindu nationalism. The largest of the 7 phases of voting began today. 166 million voters across 21 states and territories will cast their ballots, including Tamil Nadu in the south. And you are looking at voting in state capital Chennai. The race pits Mr. Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party against an alliance of 24 opposition parties. They're accusing Mr. Modi of acting like a dictator and have vowed to save India's democratic institutions and fight discrimination, especially against the Muslim minority. Surveys say the BJP will cruise to victory despite growing concerns over unemployment and inflation. And for more, Rebecca Bundhun joins us live from Chennai. Rebecca, our last reading on voter turnout in Tamil Nadu was more than 50%. What does that suggest for the state and indeed for the broader national election?
Yeah, so that was at 3 p.m. local time, which was just over 2.5 hours ago. The Election Commission reported voter turnout for Tamil Nadu at just over 51%. So that was just over the average for the country, with parts of 21 states voting today in India as this massive election gets underway. Over the next few weeks now, it's going to run in 7 phases until the final voting day on 1st of June, and then counting on the 4th of June. Now, in the 2019 election, if we take that as a comparison, as a point of comparison, voter turnout at the end of it was 67%. So once those figures were reported earlier, there was still another 3 hours to go. We've still got about another 20 minutes here in Tamil Nadu at this polling booth. People are still coming through, trickling through to cast their votes, getting into the last sort of minutes of that voting opportunity now, because all 39 constituencies are placing their votes in Tamil Nadu today in this first phase. So in the south of India, it's a different situation politically. It's a different political landscape. The BJP is much less powerful here. It's really more about the regional parties.
Rebecca, as you mentioned, BJP more likely, because it's facing a different political landscape down south, to face an uphill battle in Tamil Nadu. But relative to Tamil Nadu, looking ahead to all the other parts, how do you expect the BJP to do in other parts of India? That's fair to sum up at this very early point.
Yes, and as you mentioned, in Tamil Nadu, it's the DMK and the AIA-DMK that are really the dominant parties, with the DMK being the ruling party. However, analysts are saying that the BJP has made a lot of efforts in this state, and they could actually increase their vote share. However, whether that translates to actually securing seats is another question. In the last election, they didn't manage to secure any. Some analysts predicting that they could secure a couple this time round. Now, in other parts of India, however, it's a different situation. Modi has much more popular appeal in the north of the country, for example, where issues like his Hindu nationalism, the Hindu nationalism of the BJP, these issues really appeal to a lot of voters in northern states, including Uttar Pradesh, for example, which also parts of that state went to the polls today in this first phase. So the BJP has been very confident. It's set this ambitious target of saying that it can achieve 400 seats in this election or more, along with its allies in that alliance. However, some analysts are questioning whether that would really be achievable, given the fact that although Narendra Modi is saying that he's boosted the economy, he's appealing to people in terms of the welfare schemes and promising more of those, there are also issues including unemployment, inflation that people are concerned about. That's what people here in Tamil Nadu have been talking about as they've come to cast their votes, and also issues including polarisation and that critics have expressed concerns about, and the Congress as well has also criticised the BJP, saying that it's eroding democracy.
Also, Rebecca, if I could very quickly sum that up, so it's bread and butter issues, and also whether or not parts of India might be more or less open to Mr. Modi's more robust version of Hindu nationalism. What other forces, apart from these, could be at play at these elections?
One of the big issues that's always a concern during the elections is security. There's been a bit of a police presence here and, of course, across the polling booths that are in operation today across the country. And we have seen some incidents of violence arising in other parts of the country. In West Bengal, there were actually some reports of stone pelting and other incidents of violence that were reported to the Election Commission. In Chhattisgarh, there was a blast that apparently went off and actually injured a police officer. So these are ongoing issues as well, especially as other states go to the polls later in this election process, including Kashmir. There will be tight security, there will be concerns about security. Also, officials have talked about issues including the heat as well and preparing for that, because these elections are taking place in these very hot summer months. And also there's that matter of the electronic voting machines, which is a case that's been going through the Supreme Court, petitioners questioning how reliable those voting machines are, although the Election Commission has said that they are reliable. But today, for example, we heard that in Assam, apparently 150 of those electronic voting machines had to be replaced because they malfunctioned, according to reports.
Thanks to Rebecca Bundhun for us there in Chennai.